Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of Royal Lepage Binder Live. This is Ask the Experts, where we dive into the world of home ownership and all things to do with home ownership when it comes to buying and selling here in Windsor, Essex, where we chat with our preferred suppliers from Royal Lepage Binder. My name is Bumanlag, on the cusp of Thanksgiving weekend. Very happy to have you along for another edition of the show. My guest here on the program works extensively with many of our agents, our salespeople right across Royal Lepage Binder and our brokerages across Windsor, Essex. I've had the chance to be a guest on her very epic talk show, which we will talk about in just a few moments. And it's a ton of fun, and you learn a lot about mortgages and the mortgage biz. And she's also an expert when it comes to mortgages here in Windsor, Essex. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, you are very, let's just say, technologically savvy, and how that works out for you when you're refinancing or even applying for a mortgage, and different types of qualifying programs too. She's a big supporter of Royal Lepage. I'm very happy to welcome Gisele Levasseur from RBC Mortgage Mobile Specialist here from Royal Bank of Canada on the show. Hey, Gisele, how are you?
Hey, Arms. Good. How are you?
I'm good. It's always good to see you, and thank you for spending some time with me today. And we're going to get into the show, but I mean, lunch and learn. Oh my gosh, so much great content and guests. I watch. You guys hooked me after having me on as a show. So let's get into that. This is something I know that you started. You're very passionate about. It's another live stream show like this that you host.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm on the other end of the show today. It feels a little bit weird, but yeah, we started Lunch and Learn last April when the pandemic first started, and I just wanted to kind of get out in front of people with doing it in a safe environment, right? And the only way that I could think of was social media. It was something that we were glued to. It was something that we were on. And instead of selling to people, I wanted to educate them, because I feel like a lot of people Google things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's specific to this area or specific to you. So I wanted to bring on just different guests throughout the community, almost throughout Canada a little bit, in a sense, where we talked about just different processes of the homeownership, right? It's not always about the realtor or the builder. It's about, let's say, landscaping or the roofing or the staging of the home. So there's so many things that people don't really think of that goes into it. And so we had multiple experts, kind of like you, on our show. And it's just great content that people can go back and look at again, because it's timeless, right? Every year you're going to have to do something to your furnace, right? It's not like it was a specific time that, you're not supposed to do something right in the market or things like that. So yeah, it's been a really great hit. I absolutely love it. I have a new co-host now, Jeff Walker. So we're enjoying it.
I think it's awesome that you're able to have those connections and bring on folks that certainly, I think in Windsor, Essex, it's a big city, big region, but it's also a small region, right? And a lot of people know a lot of folks. And, me being able to work with Frank and the team at Royal LePage for, it's coming up on almost a year now, which is awesome. But getting to know people like yourself and seeing how involved you are in the community, and how you're helping people kind of get their dream homes, right? And get into places. It's I think it's a blessing to have those particular guests and bring people on and talk to them in a very upfront manner. And that passion comes through with you and your new co-host too. And I know you had some good folks on the show, like my buddy Adam Castle from
Yeah.
WeTech Alliance. Yeah, solid guy. So it's nice to see it's also outside of the home ownership kind of spectrum as well.
Absolutely. There's so many things I think that we just want to give back and highlight different, businesses, right? Everyone's starting at a different point. So whether you're ready to buy a home today or you need help starting a small business, right? There's so many different things. Or, we've had on, coach from like DJ Smith, right? And he talked about just motivation and motivating people, right? Because we were at a time where there wasn't much hope for the future and we were all kind of stuck and wasn't sure where we were going to go, right? So it's a broad aspect of just different guests that we bring in. And it's funny, like a lot of these people I used to see at events all the time. And now it was like, hey, do you want to do me a solid? Instead of going to an event, do you want to come on for 30 minutes and talk about what you do?
Well, I think it's a great show. I look forward to seeing it and popping up in the feed too, and watching it when it comes on. I think it's pretty awesome that you guys are doing it. But, for folks who are tuning in and saying, okay, well, obviously she's an awesome talk show host. You got to tell them about how awesome you are at mortgages. First-time home buyers. What can those particular folks expect, Gisele, when they're applying for a mortgage?
So I bought my home 4 years ago, and it was, I'll be honest, a shit show of a process. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where I was supposed to get my keys, my down payment coming from. I didn't know where my lawyer was. Like, it was just a complete nightmare. It was an exciting experience. Don't get me wrong, right? You're moving into your first home, but I was completely lost. So when I started RBC 3 years ago, I told myself, I said, I am going to spend so much time with the first-time home buyer. I want to make sure that they know exactly what they're signing up for, exactly the process, and setting up those expectations, right? Because if someone had told me this is the process and this is what you need to do, I'm a pretty organized person, I would have had all my stuff together, right? So I think the biggest thing is just going through the process and explaining to them. So a lot of the time, my pre-qualification clients, right? So we pre-qualify them. We do what we call a fast path. We get all the documentation, and I sit with them for about an hour, hour and a half, and we go through the list of questions that they have. Whatever grandma and grandpa told them, whatever mom and dad said when they bought their mortgage 30 years ago in their home, right? We go through the whole entire thing. And I want to make sure that they're comfortable and they understand what they're signing up for, because it's the biggest purchase of your life. You're making a payment to the biggest thing that's ever going to happen to you, right? So you want to really know what you're paying. You really want to know what you're signing up for. And you want to know what your future goals are, right? Is this a home that you're going to be in for the next 5 years? Is this the home you're going to be in the next 20 years, right? You got to figure out kind of what your plan is. And when you start asking these questions to people, they're like, oh, I don't know. That's a good question, right? So you kind of want to write down what their goals are. And then from there, depending on what it looks like, they might need help for a down payment. They might need help, upping their credit. So we take a look at that aspect. And then once they're ready and we kind of go through that list, then we do the actual pre-approval and we take a look at, that's when we lock in a rate for 120 days. That's when they can go shopping with their real estate agent, right? We give them that paper that says you've been pre-approved. And then from there, that's when the fun begins, right?
I think that's awesome that you see it from that lens, from a customer service lens. And I think that's so crucial because, I think often we talked about this before we went live. I think we operate in silos because we're experts in our own fields, but we don't take it from that external lens to say, hey, this is the audience. These are my customers. These are my potential clients that are coming in. These are my lived experiences. So how can I improve the process to make sure that, some of the, I guess, bugaboos that I might have had going through the process are alleviated, so the next people can say, wow, Gisele was really all over that. And they were, she kind of illuminated what's changing in the market. Because as a first-time home buyer, geez, when I bought my first place back in 2008 at Victoria Park Place in downtown Windsor, I didn't know what the hell was going on. You're signing stuff left and right. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm locked in for 82,000. Like, okay, whatever, right? You're just kind of, it's nice to have that sort of person to kind of walk you through the process.
Well, and I think the other thing is too, I'm still young, right? So I can relate on their level. I know exactly what they're going through. I know exactly what they're thinking, right? And so being able to relate to somebody is a really big thing, right? You have to build that relationship. And so, unfortunately now we're doing it more virtual. But back in the day when we were in the branches, right, you'd sit with the client, you get to know them, right? They're part of your family. It's a whole team that's working together to get them in that house, right? So you're working closely with your real estate agent, working closely with the client, your mortgage agent, right? Everyone's all together and your end goal is to get that client in that house, right? So you build that relationship. And that relationship is something that they come back to, right? I have clients when I first started that came back and said, hey, Gisele, I'm buying an investment property, or I'm buying a house for my kid, or can you explain the process like you did to me, right? So whether they're ready to buy today or they're ready to buy in 5 years from now, it's still an important conversation to have. And I think a lot of the educational system doesn't really tell you about these things, right? No one told me that I needed to get a credit card so I could have a credit bureau. No one told me where my down payment was coming on. No one told me how I needed to do taxes or I have to submit what a notice of assessment is, right? So you go to school and it's great, but some of the fundamentals that I think that we all need to know, especially when you're buying a house or you're budgeting or you're doing your taxes, right, are things that we should know that we don't.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I've often said, I wish that I would have learned a lot of investing and different types of, again, mortgages and interest rates and all that kind of stuff in school. It just, for whatever reason, is not on the radar. And, it's great that you're able.
That I learned in grade 12. I use that every day.
Right? You're just like, oh yeah, this is going to benefit me. How? But okay. I'll take it for a course. Sure. Whatever. But pandemic wise, you had mentioned, starting your show, your live stream, and having that way to connect with folks. RBC Technology has a number of fantastic options, right? Virtual and in-person appointments that still happen. Talk to me about those particular options for folks if they want to connect with people like yourself to walk through that process.
Yeah, so RBC has been phenomenal. When we first started the pandemic, I was kind of worried because they didn't want us in branches, because typically as a mortgage specialist, we traveled branch to branch depending on where our client was. So at one point in time, I could be at 5 branches in one day. So now that we moved to virtual, we use a system called WebEx. So it's more safe. And it just allows us to share screens with clients so they can actually see what we're doing, opposed to just staring at us while we type a bunch of things in a computer. So they like the sharing aspect, right? Especially so they can see what we're doing and we can kind of go over scenarios and things like that. We also came up with remote ID. So we can actually, if you're not a client already, we can actually send you a link where you take a picture, like a selfie of yourself and a driver's license, and it actually allows me to, continue the application. So we've come up with a lot of different great technology, as well as e-signature. We didn't have e-signature before. We had the good old paper to pen, black ink.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sign there. Yeah.
Pretty much. The amount of times I went to the branch just for a 5-minute signature, I'm like, hey, great, thanks, bye. So it's so nice that we have all this technology, that we do it in a safe environment, and we do when the client's ready to do it, right? If they want to put the kids to bed and they don't want to have a look at the documentation until 8 o'clock at night, they can do that, right? They don't have to make a 9 to 5 banking appointment. And I think a lot of the other things is, a lot of my clients want to do late night appointments. So they want to meet at 8 o'clock at night when their kids go to bed, and that's fine by me. So it gives people the flexibility a little bit more. So yeah, it's not in person, and I do miss the whole handshake and being across the desk from somebody, but it does give you a little bit more flexibility in terms of when you can meet with somebody.
It's funny you should say that. On my podcast, I do the Arms Bumanlag project. We actually had a professor from the University of Windsor, Associate Professor Kyle Brickman, on last night, and he was talking about the convenience, the gives and takes of the pandemic, and the convenience factor of a lot of these virtual. Like, yes, we are missing the in-person feel, but if you're able to, you're really improving on a work-life balance, not only for the person who may be providing the product or service, but you're also improving the work-life balance for, again, say that young couple that you're going to see at 8 o'clock at night. You think they want to load up a car with their 6-month-old and go meet you at an office? They don't. They flip on a camera and let's sign it virtually, and done deal. So I think there's like that sort of dichotomy of both sides of the story, and it's got to be easier for you, and a little bit more of a quicker process, especially when today's real estate market, when everything is so red hot.
I don't miss traveling in the car. Like, I felt like I lived in the car at one point because you'd leave your house at 9 o'clock in the morning. You wouldn't come home, let's say, at 8 o'clock at night, right? And you kind of eat, sleep, and work in your car going from branch to branch, right? So now you have a little bit more flexibility. You have a little bit more time. And you're not rushing between appointments because you have to go somewhere else, right? So I don't miss that aspect of it at all. And I think there's just more time in the day, right? And you can take a break for an hour and go for a walk, or, decide to do some laundry or whatever it is, right? So I've been working at home since March of last year. And at first it drove me crazy. I was like, I am such a social butterfly. I was like, get me out of here, my little box. But I just became accustomed to it. And that's just the new way that we're going to be doing business in the future. So we still do meet with clients if they request, they want to have an in-person meeting. That is absolutely something that we still can do. But some people have different views of COVID and how safe they feel. So, it's up to them if they feel comfortable going into a branch, and sometimes they don't. And if they want to have extended hours, then that's where we kind of push the more virtual aspect of it, right?
Can we have a discussion about the different types of qualifying programs? I know this is something huge, and I think people who are listening to this or watching this after the fact, which, by the way, we are going to be working on the Royal Lepage podcast soon, so stay tuned for that, speaking of listening to. But let's talk about some of those qualifying programs, Gisele, specifically starting with New to Canada. What is that, and how does that program benefit somebody who may qualify for it?
So RBC has a multitude of different programs. So I always tell people, like, no matter what your situation is, there's a program for you. So whether you're new to Canada, you're an investor, you're buying a second home as a cottage, if you want to do like the builder program, we have a great medical program. So there's tons of different programs for different people at different situations in their life, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously each program is designated a little bit differently. So it depends kind of on the person. But each program does help somebody in some sort of way, right? We have our wealth accumulator program, right? So let's say somebody's not working, but they have a lot of wealth. We can qualify them on that, right? So there's tons of different things. So I always find like people are like, oh, well, I have a complicated situation. Like they're never going to approve me. I'm like, try it. Tell me what your story is. Tell me how I can help you, and we'll kind of make it happen. We'll figure it out. There's something that's going to work somewhere. So don't just be so quick to say no, right? even our, alternative mortgage solutions department, right? So we have our own broker within RBC that people don't realize, right? So let's say that you don't fall under a lending per se, right? RBC says, you want to know what, your credit's a little bit low, or you recently had a bankruptcy or something happened, right? We can send you to our alternative mortgage solutions department. They put you in a mortgage for 1 year. We bring you back to RBC. Most people don't realize that. Most people are like, oh, I'll just go right to a broker because I already know the bank's not going to approve me.
Wow. So that's actually in-house, and that's a way to sort of get them to where you guys would come into play after that said
Yeah, absolutely. So
days.
Talking to a client doesn't mean it's a one-time shot, right? It's, okay, what are we going to do today? After we get this Band-Aid fixed, in a year from now, we're going to bring you back. Then what's our goal after we bring you back, right? Do you want to purchase an investment property? Do you want to purchase a second home, right? Did you want to, some people in the pandemic started a business, right? They're self-employed. Typically at the bank, you need 2 years, right? I need T4s or T1 generals and notice of assessments for 2 years. On the, on the broker side within RBC, you don't need that. We need bank statements.
That's awesome.
So it's completely different. So that's what I say. Depending on someone's situation, don't just assume that you're not going to get approved, because there's different ways you can be.
So you talked about the technology aspect, the passion that you have for the gig, the different types of qualifying programs. Why else somebody watching this or listening to this after the fact, why would they consider switching their mortgage to RBC? Give us some other reasons why.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a good time right now if someone's looking to take equity out of their house, you're never going to get a better time than right now, right? The market is hot. Everyone knows that, whether you're buying or you're doing a renovation to your home, right? I find a lot of people are doing renovations instead of selling, right? You're going to get a great bang for your buck if you sold your home, but if you buy a home, you still have to pay a lot of money. So I find a lot of people are taking a look at what their current situation is, right? Are we going to reconsolidate some debt right now? What's our rates at? Can we get a better rate somewhere else? So a lot of people are kind of taking a look at that situation, or they racked up too much debt during the pandemic, right? They lived off a credit card or they lived off a line of credit, right? Okay, now we want to pay it off. Now we're working again. So it's a great opportunity to switch over. We cover your $300 discharge fee. We cover your appraisal fee, and we also cover the legal fees. So the only thing the client would actually have to worry about would be their penalty. That's the only thing we don't cover, but it's something that we can definitely roll into the mortgage. So it's always a good time to take a look at it, whether it's something that you want to do or it's something that you just want to have a conversation about. It doesn't cost you anything to ask a question.
For sure. Right. And to sort of illuminate the different options, like you said, because people might not know what's available to them in their particular situation. One situation that we had back in August was a good time, and that was at Point West. And it was our Royal Lepage Binder golf tournament that RBC was a proud sponsor. I know Michelle and Jenna and the team are so thankful for your continued partnership and sponsorship of the golf tournament. I know you're an avid golfer too, so I hope you had a good time on the course.
I had an absolute blast. It was one of the first tournaments I feel like I kind of did of the year. And it wasn't really about the golf. It was more about just like hanging out. It felt so normal, which was something like the first big event of the year that I felt like, we were outside, we were definitely social distancing and things like that. But like, it was just nice to kind of see everybody again. And it was a wonderful time. And I look forward to it next year for sure. I won a little bit of a prize, so that was wonderful. But yeah, I'm excited for next year. I just have to work on my golf game a little bit more.
It was nice to see you and everybody from RBC out. I was fortunate to volunteer with Michelle and Jenna in the morning, and then I was able to come back for about an hour for sort of the post celebration, so to speak, at Point West. But it was really nice to see everybody who's working alongside Royal Lepage support something like the Hiatus House, which we were so involved in from Royal Lepage's standpoint, and to have sponsors like you truly makes the day that much more special. So thank you.
No, thank you. We love our partnership with Royal Lepage, so we were definitely happy to sponsor, and lots of love from RBC to you guys. So it was definitely a great day, and I look forward to it next year. I'm happy we could do it because I think at the beginning of the year we weren't quite sure with COVID, but it was definitely nice that we got it done.
Well, again, you're just a pleasure to work with. Always cheerful. I love the show. Keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for being a preferred supplier and partner with Royal Lepage really down the road. We appreciate it, Gisele.
Well, thank you for the invitation, Arms. And I look forward to the podcast. And I hope you and your family have a wonderful Thanksgiving and hope to see you soon in person.
Absolutely. Done and done. And, you know, our mortgage is up in about a year and a half, so I might come a knocking. Simple as that.
You come knocking. You come find me.
I will come knocking and be like, Gisele, here's the story. We got to get going. So
I got an approval for you.
I love it. I love it. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family too. Thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Arms. Bye, guys.
Appreciate it. Gisele, just an awesome lady from RBC. Obviously, so knowledgeable when it comes to mortgages here in the Windsor Essex area. Big community supporter as well, and always available to answer any of your questions. Our team at Royal Lepage saying thank you for spending some time with us today, Gisele, and sharing your wealth of knowledge. We are fortunate to have you as a preferred mortgage partner and a wonderful golf sponsor. Agreed. So thank you so much, Gisele. And you can find out more on Gisele and all of our preferred suppliers. One-stop shop for all things real estate, Windsor, Essex. RoyalLepageBinder.com is the website. So from all of us at Royal Lepage, we just want to say thank you to all of our clients, all of our partners, all of our customers. Thank you. And we hope that you have a fantastic Thanksgiving weekend with you and yours and celebrate what really matters is family at this time of year. So we'll be back in the next couple of weeks. Make sure to like and subscribe on Facebook and check out our YouTube channel too for Royal Lepage Binder. We've got great information on all of our sales representatives and agents right across Windsor, Essex. And we'd love to have a chat with you about buying and selling homes here locally. So that'll do it. Have a great weekend. And thanks for tuning in to Ask the Experts.